Okay, so for this year, for your illustrated reports, what we're going to do, we're going to use Apple's iPhoto in order to produce them. So they need to be sort of fairly large format hardback illustrated reports, and I'll show you what I mean. So you might have used iPhoto before. It's a very sort of easy to use edit photo sort of arranging and editing tool, and some of you might have even produced prints or calendars or in some cases even books from your photographs. So we're going to use iPhoto again. But instead of creating, a book from our photographs, we're actually going to create a book from our illustrated report spreads. So we're going to design them in InDesign, and then we're going to basically just use iPhoto as kind of like a print and a binding service, if you like. So if we go into iPhoto, if you're not familiar with iPhoto, then maybe sort of like take a bit of time to have a little look round. If you go down to Share at the bottom here and you click on Create Book, you'll come up with this kind of like carousel type interface when it loads, and you can just scroll through and choose from different various kind of default template driven designs. So we're not actually going to use these. As I said before, we're going to use iPhotos to actually print and bind our designs that we're going to design in InDesign, because they wouldn't really be suitable for an illustrated report. Okay, so the size that we need to use for our illustrated report is an extra large size. So if I just click on there, so that's 33 centimetres by 25 centimetres. And we need it to have a hardback cover. Okay, so that comes with a hardback cover, and it also comes with kind of a dust jacket as well. So that's 33 centimetres by 25, extra large hardback cover. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to design our designs in InDesign as we would normally. So I've got an example sort of set up here of some spreads that I've already designed using InDesign. So this would sort of be where you would design your illustrated report. And then we're going to export these back into iPhoto, and we're going to use these spreads instead of using, the photographs that we would normally use in iPhoto. Okay, so it's quite easy to do. So if we go down to File and have a look at Document Setup, we can see that I've set the document up for 330 millimeters by 250 millimeters. Okay, and then you just set the number of pages to as you want, and you can design them as facing pages like you would a normal book or a publication magazine or something like that. Okay, and then you just click OK. And then what we're going to do is we're going to export these. So I'm just going to go to Export. And it gives me a few options that I can save these as. I'm going to save mine as a JPEG because I know that iPhoto supports those as JPEGs. And I'm going to export them onto my desktop as, should I just call it as a report or something? Yeah, okay. And then I'm just going to click Save. So you'll be faced with this export dialog box. At the moment, it says pages range, I'm going to say all because that's fine for me. But also, if you wanted to just export individual pages, a page at a time, you can do that. That's no problem. If you wanted to do it individual pages, obviously you type in the number of the page here and just click pages. And then obviously at the moment I want spreads. So image quality, I've got maximum, resolution 300. Colour space, now normally when we're printing we use CMYK, but as we're using iPhoto, RGB's good. And then I'm just going to export those onto my desktop. And depending on how many images you've got or the size of your document, that'll sort of like take a bit of time if you've got loads, but it's not too bad. So then I'm going to go back into iPhotos, and then I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to ask them to import into Library. So just go to Import into Library, and then see if I can find. There's my files that I've just done. So I'm going to select those and just import those into my library. And again, you'll see this progress bar as it's doing it. Mine shouldn't be too slow because I've only got 3 to import, and there they are. Okay, so that's imported my images. They're now into my library, and now I can start creating my book. So if I go back into share again and go to my book, and you can see already it's starting to put images on. It's actually put the first image onto the cover. I mean, it's not exactly what we want, but it automatically tries to flow it for you. That's not necessarily what we want, and don't worry if it does this, because you can change the order, and you can, you've got a fair bit of control where things go. So I'm just going to go into extra large because that's what we want. Make sure it's hardcover, and then I'm going to ask it to create the book. Okay, so we've got some spreads to view here that you can have a look at. You can see there's the template driven thing they've got in place for you already, and you just place your images in. We're not going to do that, as I said before. We're going to use our own designs, and it's fairly straightforward to do. All you need to do is just double click on a page, and that will sort of bring that page up a bit closer. And then you've got these choice of sort of page format. So I'm going to go for spread, and I want it to be like a full bleed spread, that one there. And there we go, the first one's in automatically. Okay, so I can do the same if I go to the next page, and then I'm going to go to spread and click on this one here. This time I'm going to go back to my photos, and then I'm going to drag this one in. Okay, so you'll notice if you drag them in, sometimes it kind of tries to resize things for you. I know my photos or my JPEGs were the right size because I designed them in InDesign. So all I need to do is just take that down so they're not resized, and you can see that fits nicely. And then I'm going to go on to the next page, and again you get the idea now. Spread, and then drag this over to that, and then resize it to the correct size. Okay, so you can sort of review your books and view all the pages and things like that. You can see how your book's starting to sort of shape up. You can see my first 3 spreads are in there. So it's fairly straightforward, and when you're ready, when you've designed your book, you can also add pages as well, just down here by clicking on add page, and it'll add a number of pages for you. Then when you're ready, if you just go to buy book, and to buy your book you'll need obviously your Apple ID, so it'd be the same ID as you use say for iTunes or something like that. So a 20-page book is £34.99 for a hardbound, a sort of A3 size book, and delivery is £5.99. That's a flat rate delivery of £5.99. Additional pages are 99p each on top of that. So as I said before, it's probably the cheapest way of getting a book of that size and quality and bound. The other thing to mention is you have to allow for 9 working days for delivery. Okay, it's normally a lot quicker than that, but you don't want to be caught out, so I would allow for the full 9 working days to be on the safe side. Okay then, so that's how you do your large format illustrated hardback report. You're going to need 2 reports, as you know, illustrated reports. So one would be a hardback report. Your second one could either be also another hardback report if you wanted to just put 2 in there, and then obviously you get 2 books, or your second one could be, a smaller version softback report that we've also seen in iPhotos. Okay. So if you have any problems, obviously just email me, and hopefully I'll do my best to answer them. So yeah, and I'll see you all soon. Okay.